Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing? You loving this warm Chicago weather? Okay. My name is Toussaint Lossier. I'm a fourth year in the history department. I'd say almost all of my graduate student experience here, I've been proud enough to work with fellow graduate students who are working to try and change and improve things here on campus. And one of the organizations we're doing that through is GSU, which is Graduate Students United. Over the past 3 years, we've been organizing around benefits for the teaching that we do, the pay for the teaching that we do, the stipends that we receive. And we've been able to make some progress here on campus. But we found that we've only been able to get so far working through the normal channels that the university affords us. And so we've really pushed now for the past year to unionize our fellow graduate students so that we can work not simply individually or through student government, but as a collective group of people who were employed by the university to see our demands met. And we're standing here with you all today because the same fight that you're in is a fight that we're in and we're going to continue to be in. So we want to be here to express our solidarity with you. We want to thank you for your support and to let you know that we are seeing the connections between the problems that you face and the problems that we face. I think most inspirationally, we had a day of action on March 4th, particularly in California, but in other states across the country, where you had students, graduate students, university employees coming out on campus and in the streets to say that they wanted to fight back against the cuts that were being made in public education. And we all know that the same problems that folks maybe at the University of California or at the city, in the community system in New York City, the same problems they're facing are similar problems to what we're facing here at private universities, right? And even though we might see them in individual contract fights for employees on campus or graduate students taking up the issue of raises in graduate student tuition, or students on campus, undergraduate students on campus taking up their issues, that we see how all those different fights are connected, right? And we see that we need to work together to change this place, to change this university to be the best one that we could possibly be, okay?
Yes.
All right? You all gonna stick with that? Yeah. I can't hear you. Yeah. I still can't hear you. Yeah. Thank you all.
And now Erica, who is also with GSU.
I'd like to speak a little bit, actually, not just as a GSU member, but as a member of a cohesive department within the university. I am a 6th-year music history student, and I would like to point out that my advisor is actually here, along with one of our clerical support staff, Melanie, and we also had other students come. I'd like to thank them for coming. But the broader point I would like to make is that if the intent of the administration has been to divide, it's actually, in my department at least, I've seen that it's actually created a real sense of solidarity between the students, and if I can speak for them, I was wearing this pin on Friday as we had a conference, a graduate student conference, and I got nothing but positive responses from students here and from other campuses. The struggle, as you say, is a common one. We as students have felt the pinch in terms of increased pressures and increased financial pressures, and at the same time less grant money to go around, fewer colloquia, that sort of thing. And the administration's response to our concerns has been a non-response. And so we feel what you're going through, and I would just like to say that within our department, this has just created a real sense of community. We know that the clerical staff are there first thing in the morning, long before the students, long before we can get our butts out of bed. They're actually in school working, and they're often the last ones leaving at the end of the day. So I would just like to express a sense of solidarity from the music department, and I'm sure that what's happening in our department is probably happening on a much broader scale across the campus. So thank you.
To round out the department, Melanie Clossy from the music department.
Hi, I'm Melanie Clossy. I'm an office worker in the Humanities Division the music department. I love my job. I love working at the University of Chicago. Our fight for a fair contract is not a fight with faculty members, with students, with graduate students. Not in the least. We do stand here today opposed to certain kinds of policies that the university is pursuing that are not just unfair. Well, I think it's morally wrong too. I don't like the contract they've offered us. I voted against it. It's not a good deal for clerical workers, okay? But the thing that really sticks in my throat and forces me to vote no is what they've done to the service and maintenance workers who work in the residence halls. The kind of cut that's been forced on them. I'm going to break it out to you just in numbers. If you earn $29,000 a year, which would be somewhere in the average for that job, and all of a sudden you had to go home and tell your family that it was now going to be $25,000, what kind of impact does that have on someone who earns that level of money? It means you lose houses. It means you lose homes. It means you can't think about sending your kid even to community colleges anymore. It has a devastating effect. Now, the university talks about partnership, and actually, I think that for some people in the administration, they mean it generally, and they do want to pursue it. I think it's up to us to hold them to it, and to hold them to a higher standard. I do feel strongly that for those administrators here who are sincere in what they put out to us about the budget crisis and so forth, they should assume a leadership role in this situation. I would suggest that anyone at the university making more than $150,000 a year just give up 0.5%. That's not going to put anybody out of their house. That's not going to affect what you buy at the grocery store, and it's not going to affect the education of your children. So I'd like to see the community-minded and moral leadership that I know this university is capable of. Thank you. Wow.